So we have triggers for every new record. We have triggers for every existing record where there's a score increase if that record's like not owned by a sales rep. That sends the record through a series of workflows within RingLead that do the lead to account matching. Then we do lead to related lead matching. And then if all else fails and there are no related records, then we use RingLead's round robin functionality to assign out the records. So prior to RingLead, what we were doing to facilitate our go-to-market strategy honestly wasn't working very well. So we were using Distribution Engine for our routing. We were using a tool called Cloud Dingo for some of our deduplication. But having disparate systems kind of, doing different things and small portions of the overall process was rather complicated. Whereas now with RingLead, we're able to consolidate both of those functionalities into a single tool, which is much more effective and efficient for us for maintaining and supporting our go-to-market strategy. Before RingLead, Kaseya was wasting money and likely losing money as well by really spending money on marketing campaigns where we were generating leads that sales wasn't necessarily following up on because the lead was getting routed to them incorrectly. And the receiving rep would realize this does not belong to me, but instead of reassigning the lead to the appropriate person, they would just sit on it. And those leads would essentially go cold and die without anybody ever following up on them. So there was a lot of missed opportunities we had as a result of that. Now we don't have that issue. With RingLead, we know that the first time it gets assigned, it is getting assigned to somebody who can and should be able to work that record. Kaseya has a SLA of 1 hour for all MQLs that are assigned to sales reps from the time that the MQL is assigned to the time that the rep follows up. So prior to RingLead, our sales reps would spend a lot more time weeding through leads, trying to understand if they could actually work a lead, and very often, much more frequent basis, they wouldn't be able to work a lead. So now they've wasted their time, and it did drive a little bit of resentment and folks being a little unhappy with having to spend their time in that way when they could be closing deals. Obviously, we don't want them spending their time in that way either. Now, with RingLead, we are fostering an environment of obeying and honoring the SLAs. But not only that, we're actually getting the lead assigned quicker to the right rep. So the time that is ticking before the SLA clock starts is much shorter than it was prior to RingLead. So I would categorize RingLead as a data orchestration platform because it really is acting as a maestro, right? As a marketing operations person or anybody in sales ops or familiar with CRMs, there is data coming in from all different angles. It is coming in from the marketing automation platform. It is being inputted by sales reps, and RingLead gives us the ability to pull in all that data from all the various sources, make sense of it, and really drive the outcomes that we need in terms of deduplication and routing throughout our organization. So prior to implementing RingLead, we weren't able to do lead to account matching out of the box with Salesforce. We actually had to develop our own custom code. And it was really kind of a little bit of a black box. It wasn't very easy to manipulate. There weren't a lot of people within the organization who understood how it worked. And anytime we needed an update or a change, it was a big process to get anything in place. Whereas with RingLead, the lead to account matching is very robust, giving us any option we could think of under the sun in terms of matching the lead to the appropriate account. And not only at the matching level, but then what happens after the match has taken place. Do we want to assign that lead as a lead to the account owner of the matching account? Do we want to convert that lead? Do we want to ignore the match altogether and do something entirely different? There are a lot of options available to us in the RingLead platform that we just did not have available prior to implementing RingLead. The consequence of not having leads matched to accounts is a lot of conflict between our new customer acquisition team and our account management team. We used to see it all the time prior to RingLead, where a customer would maybe hire a new technician, They would submit a web form on a product that maybe they did or did not own. It doesn't really matter, but it would go to the new customer acquisition team as opposed to the existing relationship manager for that account, and really waste a lot of time internally just making sure that the record got to the right person and that we were able to leverage the existing relationships we had with that company to close that deal quickly and at a higher conversion rate. RingLead is really improving how I do my job because it is actually giving me the ability to implement the requirements of the business, which we've just simply did not have before. RingLead saves me an immense amount of time. Once we got through the initial onboarding with the help of Elliot Lowe and the others at RingLead, we were able to really operate on somewhat of a set it and forget it type of perspective. Having that all-in-one tool just makes us incredibly more efficient, and we're not losing time between switching tools. Our experience with RingLead when it came to onboarding us as a new customer was really top-notch. We got absolutely stellar service from the team at RingLead. They held our hand every step of the way, and they really helped us guide through our really complex rules, where they were helping us to define those rules in ways that we could actually implement them. It's really one thing to have an idea of what you might want the rules to look like. It's an entirely different thing to be able to take those ideas and put them into terms of business requirements. And the team at RingLead really helped us to get to a point where we had a really finite set of attainable business requirements that we could implement within the tool.